everyone. Thanks for being here. We're going to open statement, then we'll take questions. Coach, are you ready?
Yeah, I mean, this was a really good win for us, needless to say. Coming off the Butler game and all the kind of, disruption involved with Nick coming off of a concussion and getting cleared to play. Obviously you guys saw Arrington wasn't out there today, and that was, we don't really have rules in our program. We have what I call standards. And, sometimes when the standards aren't met, there's things that come along with that. So, he made a mistake. You move on from it. You get ready. And I was just so proud of our other guys for round. That's what a team is. Just like he's stepped up for others, right? There have been other games when other guys haven't done well and he's stepped up. So really proud of our team. This was a grinded out game. Howard was a really hot team. They had won 5 in a row. We knew they were going to be confident and we had to grind it out. It was a 2-point game there in the second half. And I thought holding them to 60 points, it was the second game. We've really been challenging our players to do a good job on the other team's best players. That was something early in the year we weren't doing a good job. The other team's best players, were exceeding their averages and really dominating the game. We did a really good job on the kid Bizjack last game, who was averaging about 19. Tonight, Harris, 20 a game scorer, holding him to 4 points, was huge and a big part of the reason why we won. So really proud of our guys. I can go on. I know you're going to ask, but great minutes from Justin Mullins. His 4 threes, enormous in the first half. Trey Singleton, best game he's played, really stepping up and just put a smile on my face seeing him be that aggressive. We've been kind of waiting for that guy, and that's part of being a freshman. You're trying to feel it out, you're trying to figure things, and hopefully a game like today, confidence-wise for him, will be a really good springboard going in to the Big Ten. And Jake West, I thought Jake was phenomenal, plus 25 coming off the bench. Really ran our team, took care of the ball, played tough. Really proud of how he played. So, happy with the win. Put the non-conference to bed. It was important that we got the win today, 8-3. Obviously we're disappointed with 3 close losses against real high-level opponents, right? You see what Oklahoma State's done. You see what Butler's done. You see what Virginia's done. We had 3 opportunities that kind of got away, but good wins on the road at DePaul, beating South Carolina. And, now we got to get into our league. And if we want to, be relevant, Saturday becomes a huge game where we've lost our last home game and it's hard to win on the road in this league. So, we got to come back and be ready to go Saturday afternoon against Minnesota.
We'll go to questions. Matt?
Coach, you mentioned it and broadcasted too. Arrington was, benched for a violation of team standards. Can you share what was the violation, and is this the extent of his suspension?
Yeah, no, I mean that's something in house. It's not needed. I expect to move forward. This was something for today's game. He knows, he made a mistake. It happens. These guys are still kids. They're still young guys. And, I thought he was a good teammate on the bench. He was helping his guys out. And I expect him to come back to practice these next couple of days and be ready to go on Saturday afternoon.
Coach, 13 offensive rebounds in the second half after none in the first half. What was the messaging in the locker room at halftime to make something like that happen?
Well, we knew it was kind of a grinded out game, right? We've missed some shots at the rim. We had missed some free throws, and we just said this is a grimy game today. We got to get in the trenches. We got to play D. We got to get loose balls. We got to rebound. And I thought as the game wore on, especially Trey, Nick, Angelo, thought those 3 guys did a really good job kind of getting in the glass, getting multiple possessions, getting second chance points. On a day where it was the ball, wasn't really going in the basket. And, we're going to keep at it. We haven't really shot the ball that well. Justin made shots tonight. I thought it was good to see Jordan hit a big one late, which was huge. But I think that's the next step because I believe in our shooting. I believe that we can have guys that can make. We've been in a little bit of a rut from 3, but that happens throughout the course of a year. And you got to dig down and you got to find other ways to win games. And, that's 2 games in a row, right? I think Butler was 61 and these guys were 60. And, we try to always, under 65 is always kind of a benchmark for our guys. Like if, we feel like we'll give ourselves a great chance to win if we can hold a team under 65.
Coach, it seemed like it was a struggle for Jaden, and you ended up going to Jake West
Yeah.
for most of the second half. Just how do you get Jaden going forward?
Yeah, part of it is you just get back to practice. You keep your confidence up. It wasn't really his night. He was struggling a little bit. And, I thought that's the good part about having somebody who can come in. Today was Jake's night, and Jake came in and finished the day. He's just got to get back to the gym. We have 3 days now to get ready for Saturday. We have full belief in him. And I've always been a big proponent that the proof's in the work, right? I mean, you just, when, as a player for me, if it wasn't going well, you get in the gym and you figure it out. The answers are on the floor. So we have great confidence in him. We're going to keep, putting him in positions to be successful, and hopefully he'll bounce back Saturday. I mean, not hopefully. I know he'll bounce back Saturday and be better.
Coach, you've had 10 days since your last game in Butler. In terms of Arrington's absence, was that something that happened closer to that game, and you had more time to prepare for this kind of lineup, or something?
Yeah, this was something. Both of the best absences, Nick's and Arrington's, were very close to game, so it was really hard. It was really hard to kind of switch gears and kind of change a game plan. That's why I'm proud of the guys. Nick's was the day before the Butler game, so, and you guys know how important Nick is to everything we do. We play through him in so many ways. So that's why that Butler, the way we battled and fought in that game, I was so disappointed we weren't able to kind of get over the hump, because I thought we really put ourselves in a great spot without having him. And then same thing today. This was really close to game time, and so you didn't really have practice time to put a whole new game plan. And Matt, our guys had to kind of learn on the fly and figure it out. And proud of them for doing that.
Coach, you guys put up 80 points today, and really, 21 assists compared to 5 turnovers. What did you like about just that efficiency and that ball movement all around the field?
Yeah, I thought we were unselfish. I thought we didn't just panic and take the first quick shot. We've done that a little bit at times. I thought we got some side to side. I thought we had some really good possessions in the second half where we got 2 and 3 ball reversals, and then it ended up getting to Nick or Trey when the defenses had to move a little bit. And, I thought it was a work in progress, especially kind of lineups that hadn't played a whole lot were out there. I mean, Jake being out there a lot, Nick and Trey playing considerable minutes together there. So we're going to keep working at it. We got to be better offensively. We got to continue to move. I think the next step too is just continue to give these guys confidence. There's so much attention on our inside play that, we got to be able to free those guys up, by keeping them honest from making some shots. And we'll do that. And this will be a good film to watch. And it's nice to have a few days to kind of get ready for Minnesota. They've played really well. They beat Indiana. Nico Medved's one of the more underrated coaches in the country. He's done unbelievable job at Colorado State, and they're very hard to guard, with their 5-out stuff. So we're gonna have our hands full, and it's gonna be a big week of preparation for Saturday.
Roger?
Coach, I believe this past game against Butler that Nick missed was his first missed game since his first year. What was that like for him coming into a game today after not having played a game?
Well, I'm sure you guys can picture the lobbying he was making with the medical staff to be out there. No one wants to be out there. I mean, you gotta literally, whatever adjective you want to do to describe. You guys are the writers. I'm not as smart as you guys, but to get that guy to not play, and but you can't mess around with head injuries, and our medical staff is as good as it gets. And sometimes you got to step forward and say, hey, we got to take a step back here and get you right. But he was dying, because also he knew how big of a game that was. And he hadn't played it. He had circled that Butler game because I think it was one of his worst games was last year against Butler. I don't know if you guys remember, he didn't shoot well, and he had a tip in, at the buzzer that would have sent the game into overtime. So I know he really wanted that game bad, and for him not to play, I know it was driving him nuts, but I give him all the credit. He listened to the medical staff. He got himself ready. Fortunately, he healed up, and he came back today, with a lot of duress going on, and he came out and really led us like an All-American does.
Coach, it's been, kind of a busy 10 days since the last time you played in the college landscape.
Really? What's going on?
Incoming transfers with G League experience,
Yeah.
guys coming in mid-season in general.
Mm-hmm.
Just What are your thoughts on that, and has Northwestern thought about recruiting a player that might come in midseason?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. The mid-season stuff, Matt, is hard for us because of the quarters. So that makes it really difficult. So the mid-season has been something that we have to kind of see if that can be an avenue going forward just with the basketball calendar. I don't really know what the rules are. So for me to sit up here and say what can or can't be done, I just kind of chuckle when I see pros continuing to come over, and I'm not sure why some kids are eligible and some aren't, and but we got to adapt. I'm saying that in jest, but this is the landscape now, and we can like it or not like it, but this is where college basketball is. And in order for us to try to be successful, we got to try to figure out how we can navigate it here at Northwestern. And it's getting a lot of attention. Obviously, a lot of people are talking, and there's a lot of old school people, that, have known things to be the way they've been forever. And the reality is that ship is gone. This is a new ball game. This is pretty much professional sports masquerading as college sports. And we got to just figure out, every school and every program has to navigate it in their way and try to figure out how you can be successful. But to your point, the mid-season stuff is something I want to keep looking into, because it's been a little bit for us harder just because of being on quarters versus semesters.
Question in the middle.
And Coach, no minutes for KJ for the second time this season. With
Yeah.
so many guys on the roster, what
Yeah.
does that decision making look like for the rotation?
Yeah, just a gut feel. Look, I believe in KJ. I thought he came in against Butler and did some good things. I've said it all. It's hard to play like 6'7" perimeter guys. No, I didn't do that on purpose for the 6'7". Sorry, I had to do that for my kids, but I caught myself there, guys. But it's hard to play. It just is, and decisions have to be made, and guys just have to stay ready. This is a long season. Last year Jordan Clayton didn't play the first 20 games, and then all of a sudden he started the last 11 or whatever, 10, however many he played. So you just got to get in the gym, get to work. I still believe KJ can be a really good player and help us win. And he's just got to keep coming to practice and putting himself in a position when his number's called, he's ready to go.
Need to wrap us up.
All right, guys. Good to see you. Happy New Year, guys.
Brett, Nick and Trey here. Any questions for both these guys? Matt?
For Trey, Coach said felt like this might have been one of your best games here this time. Got your career high points. What do you feel like clicked for you in this game, especially the second half?
I think most of it just came from me being super aggressive, attacking the boards offensively, and just getting easy putbacks.
Nick, Coach mentioned, you were lobbying a bit to play the Butler game, but obviously couldn't do that, and it's your first missed game since your freshman year. How do you get back into the rhythm for a game like today? It's not 32.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that I was able to get past the concussion quickly. And yeah, I just got back to conditioning. I got in with T-Knock, everybody who was home, just did their part in helping me to get back. And then practice this week, just getting back in shape, getting back with the guys.
This is for both of you. 0 offensive rebounds in the first half, ended up with 13 in the second, each of you with 4. Just curious, what was the messaging like at halftime, and was it really just as simple as, crash the offensive glass more frequently, or what was the change that you guys made?
A key point for us has been don't get out-toughed, and I think that first half we kind of got out-toughed, so, we came in at halftime and just agreed as a team, like, let's go out there, let's fight and leave it all out there, and good things happen for us.
This is also for both of you. So you guys finished non-conference at 8-3, big game against Minnesota on Saturday. What are you guys taking away from this game and from these non-conference games going into that, Big Ten gauntlet?
Yeah, I think just experience playing with each other. 8 new guys this year. So we're really starting to get in a groove, I think. And, I think playing our brand of basketball today, we held them to 60 points. That's what, really means a ton to me, is just play our brand of basketball. And with that, hopefully we can get some wins.
Nick, Coach said that the decision to bench Arrington for a violation of team standards came close to the game. How difficult was that to adapt to?
Yeah, obviously, knowing that he wasn't going to be playing, he's such a great player, great kid, and we'll be excited to have him back. But we knew we needed to do our job without him, and we're just happy that we had his back today.
Any more questions? All right, that'll wrap us up with these two. Thank you.
Yes, guys.